Odense Zoo in Denmark decided they were going to dissect a lion that they had put down 9 months ago, and the female lion was a year old. They decided to put it down. They decided to put it down for many reasons. The main reason that they give is because they were worried about inbreeding. Another reason was that they didn't have enough space, and also no one would take the lion. They also didn't have the space for it. Now, there's no info on if they tried to reach any African conservatories for the lion, but as far as we know, they just put it down. Those are the reasons they gave. So this was a huge thing because they decided to do it publicly, and also the fact that lions are an endangered species.
To dissect it publicly.
To dissect it publicly, yeah. Lions are an endangered species. There are approximately 20,000 lions left in the wild, which...
That's it?
That's it. I know, right? I said the same thing.
So,
wow.
Lions, their population has been reduced by half since the 1950s. Over the past century, it went from 200,000 in the wild to 20,000 in the wild. And so this whole decision...
I'm sorry, that's not like 100% depreciation or something? That's like ridiculous.
It's a huge percent. I don't know how much percent because I suck at math, but it's a huge percent.
That's just baffling.
We don't suck at math. 200,000 to 20,000. What's the percentage difference?
90%? 80%?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just since when? I'm sorry to keep saying
that's over the past century.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Since we've been trying to conserve and save them, and they've still dropped that dramatically.
And you don't hear about. I mean, there's that guy who just shot the lion.
Yeah, that shot Cecil the lion. Yeah.
Right, but nobody else. I've not heard of anybody else like, oh, he killed a lion. I've heard elephants, rhinos, things like that, but.
Yeah, well, today there was also a report of a guy from Germany who killed the largest lion, not the largest lion, but the largest elephant in Africa. But the thing with Cecil the lion that was so important was, one, the lion was a celebrity. So many celebrities had come to see that lion and had taken pictures with that lion.
Just to verify, my first answer of 90% was correct, and I thought it was, but I wanted to double check it.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew it was like 90 or 100%. It was way up there.
Thank you. But another thing is that the matter of conservation, habitat destruction, and poaching is what's killing lions. Poaching, and I looked at this number a long time ago, so it may have changed. I may be remembering it a little bit wrong, but on average, it was about 600 lions or something like that are being killed a year. And for me, that's insane. Also, going back to the public dissection, this is not the first time a zoo in Denmark did a public dissection. The Copenhagen Zoo did a public dissection last year, I think it was March of last year, of a perfectly healthy giraffe. They put it down, it was perfectly healthy, and they then did the dissection in front of parents and children. The good thing about that dissection, and it's a very small good thing, was that they then fed that meat to the lions. So it wasn't like with...
It wasn't wasted.
Yeah, exactly. Which with this dissection, who do you feed a lion to? If it's a zoo, you don't have really any options. If it's an aquarium, you got at least sharks.
Yeah.
But at the public zoo, it had no, you had nothing. But with the children and the families that were there, when you look at the video, and I'll put a link to the video, I'm not going to show you guys because it is very graphic, because it shows the organs coming out of the lion, them cutting the lion, and it's really, really graphic.
Well, we all dissected animals in high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should absolutely put up a viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no, I agree, but I'm just saying, like,
But also the 1 ounce intestines of a frog and
Yeah.
50, 60, 70 pounds of intestines for a lion is
It's
different
it's
level
very
of
graphic. Yeah. So
okay.
when you see this video, you see pictures from the dissection. You see a lot of people covering their faces, gasping, closing their nose because of the smell. And let's be real,
The one walking out and dissecting the frog, I'm just throwing that out there.
but let's be real, they had this lion frozen for 9 months. Once you take that lion out of the freezer, all that smell is going to hit you like I don't know what. Is going to be very strong because that's 9 months of decay that you tried to delay. But
Well, the freezer
now
would
it's
stop
happening.
most of the decay.
But that's what happened, and the parents justified bringing their children because they said it was educational. They felt that it shows their children that it's not a teddy bear, it's very serious. And I don't know. What do you guys think about this? How do you feel?
So got something.
I'm listening to this story, and I think the part of it that bothered me the most was, the reasons that they provided. We didn't have enough room for it. Nobody would take it. So we killed it. I don't know. I actually don't know if either of you two own an animal, if you ever had a pet, whatever. But I'm telling you right now that I can look into my dog's eyes and I know that there's a personality in there. I know that there is a soul inside of there. So for me to hear that we are killing animals because we don't have room for it, nobody will take it. We have millions of children who have no parents, who aren't wanted, who are in orphanages. Is that what we do? Or are we just gonna, let's euthanize them and then put on public display as we embalm their bodies before we bury them? I'm not okay with this in any stretch of the imagination.
I agree that they could have released a lion
Yes.
into the wild. They
She
could have
was-
done something. It's a 1-year-old.
Yeah, she was 1 year old. She could have adapted.
Yes, I absolutely
made it.
agree with that.
And not only that, I think it's important to note that in the lion community, I guess to say, pride, a 1-year-old lion is considered an adult.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
they essentially killed an adult because their main reasoning was they feared inbreeding. They felt that since it was a year old female lion, her father was going to then try to mate her. And if that was really the case, you should have been fighting. For me personally, you should have
So
been
why
fighting
not
hard
just
for
lions?
conservation. What's that?
Why don't you switch out lions with another zoo so that the inbreeding doesn't happen? Say, hey,
That's an option.
It can be killed.
We've got an endangered species here. She's prime for, making babies. Here's a great idea. Why don't you send me somebody she can have healthy babies with?
Well, not only that, but you went from 20,000 to 19,999. Why?
Now, I don't have the number of lions in captivity. I don't have that number. I will say that.
But then, think about, okay, in that case, and you're right, we didn't count the ones that were in captivity. But whatever that number may be added on to the 20,000, it's still going to be very insignificant.
It's still very low. Yeah, you're
Well,
absolutely
one
right.
less, where we could have been at least 8 more.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, it's bullcrap.
Absolutely.
I do want to say something from a person who I love hunting, love fishing, love outdoors. You kill it, you eat every part of it. Like that's the true essence of hunting to me. This to me, when I first heard about it, I was like, what's the big deal? Another animal died. Dissecting it's a bit gruesome to me, but you gotta chop up a deer once you kill it. So really, what's the point? But finding out that it was a 1-year-old lion, finding out, again, like you guys, I didn't know how few lions there were out there. I'm still thinking lions were running around like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's one less lion. Apparently, and factually, that's a big fucking deal. Like, it's huge. So my whole persona changed when I found out, one, our lions are dying at a dramatic rate. Two, it's a 1-year-old lion. I'm right there with Sirena. 8 other to 10 to 12 other cubs could have came out of this lioness.
Yeah. Just by switching lions out.
Just by switching lions out. Or just by putting it in the wild with another young pride. Like, so like, there were so many other options, I feel, and what I was saying earlier, we were talking about this, they did it to me for money. They couldn't make any money by selling it to another zoo. They didn't want to trade it to another zoo because they wouldn't make any money in the trade and they'd have to spend money transporting it.
You mean selling it to a conservatory? They wouldn't make
Oh yeah, and I was going to say that too. Well, I'm saying if they were to trade it with another zoo so they could properly breed, they wouldn't make any money. They would have to pay for transportation. They wouldn't make any
pay for transportation, but they would have made money through
the babies and stuff.
Through the babies and.
But that's so far down the road.
Yeah. One, they're not going to have room for 8 more.
Yeah.
Like, there's that.
And then on top of that, they weren't going to make money in the conservatory. So where
you heard this, Jaysin?
Yeah, Serena's upset. So where they could make their money was, real quick, where they could make their money was in ticket sales, which is why they wanted to dissect it publicly. It's because the more people they could get to come there, the little bit of money they could make off the lion that they killed. Which to me is the only reason it's kind of sad to me.
I feel Serena's
upset. Part of society.
Yeah, it appeals to the worst part of society. Yeah.
The people who paid to go watch that, those are the people we need to worry about because there's a couple of serial killers in there. I'm just going to go ahead and say.
Well, no, now here's the thing. This is a scientific, this is an educational thing. Yes, I'm sure the people dissecting this lion are not learning anything new. But kids, who are dissecting frogs, who are dissecting the cows out like I did, in high school, it is another form of education. Like, hey, look, there's also this. And that might encourage somebody to become a veterinarian. That might encourage somebody to become a doctor.
It might also encourage them to become a serial killer.
It might encourage them to become a serial killer, but I think that's a little fewer than...
I would say it's fewer,
it's
but you can set someone's appetite for, that lion I chopped up. Let me go chop up the dog down the street.
Not only that, but look at those organs. Those organs are so interesting. I want to see more of those. Let me chop up some people, see how they differ. You can make that argument because we're not that different from our animal counterparts.
And that is true, but I think you're getting 6 people being doctors and veterinarians and maybe 1
serial killer.
I wouldn't even say 1, I'd say like 0.2.
Going with your stats, Brandon, that's 1 out of 6. That's a huge number.
It really is.
Yes, but mine is absolutely in my head. That's a number out of my...
I just want to ask you, Jaysin, when it comes to this, dissecting of the lion, did they actually take the time to be like, this is the spleen, this is the heart, these are the lungs, these are the organs, like, did they really break it down and make it educational?
Okay, so I don't know because I don't speak the language, but it did sound like from the video that I saw that they were saying something during the dissection. So if they were saying this is the spleen, this is the liver, and so on and so forth, then I will give them credit. However, I still go against them because it was a lion, which is an endangered species, and for me, I absolutely love lions. I have a lion tattoo, so this is very near and dear to my heart.
Well, and then on top of that, if it was like an older lion who was kind of at the end of his rope anyways, I would be totally fine with that.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's a 1-year-old female lion, which, absolutely baffles me.
If they had went with the older female, I would have been like, okay, cool. She was probably almost past that limit. She's old enough. Let's keep this one that's young.
Yeah,
let's get something fresh and let's make sure she can.
The statistics that I've heard tonight, there is no shortage of dead lions.
Apparently, no, there's not.
Or they can find one who's already dead, they didn't have to kill it, and they can get the same educational experience.
I would agree.
Absolutely.
Obviously not a shortage of dead lions. There is a shortage of
living
live ones and dissecting them in public. Now, I'm done with I'm not even gonna talk about this anymore.